And I want the people of St. Catherine to recognize that we hear the calls about improvement in facilities and we are responding. And this is a manifestation of that, and the best is yet to come in terms of the services. We still want to advise them to cut down on the fast driving and the salt, sugars and fats, because that's part of the traffic that have to come through here, people with hypertension and stroke and heart attacks, but we are making provisions for them nevertheless. We're at Spanish Town Hospital, where I am viewing, along with Sarah, the Regional Health Authority, the Spanish Town Management Team, and of course the contractor. Facility that was built and repurposed for replacing existing facilities on the grounds of the hospital, where we intend to clear the way for a new six-storey facility, which I've spoken about several times, so you're fully aware of it. This has come after years of work in negotiating the loan agreement with the IDB, the EU, and of course the government of Jamaica, with developing all the technical plans, doing the needs assessment, consulting with the people of the parish, and essentially allowing for time for work to be done. I can happily report that today we are closer than ever in terms of breaking ground for that facility. But it has several implications. For starters, there are some services that are being offered now at that site that have to be relocated. Hence, while we're doing all the work, we're preparing the grounds for that relocation. As you would have seen from this brief tour, a lot of work has gone in to preparation. In fact, this facility here, which will house lab services, pharmacy services, including waiting areas, testing areas, collection of medication, storage, is more than twice the size of what it was in its original place. And the intention is to make it as comfortable as possible for the patients who are going to be using it, the people of St. Catherine and its environs, but also, very importantly, for the staff who will be providing the services on a daily basis. You know, we have learned a lot from the Cornwall experience, but generally from construction and renovation and repurposing of health infrastructure, which we have to admit is outdated, has long required renewal. Some of these buildings have been around from, pre-independence, indeed from the colonial days, this institution being one of them, and really has not kept up with population expansion or the modernization of equipment and infrastructure. It is this government, and I'm happy to be identified with it, that has come with a total overhaul, a plan to totally overhaul under the 10-year strategic plan. Now, there are lessons to be learned. Some of it we learned the hard way. You're going to have an active construction site where you have potential for noise pollution, air pollution, men moving around working, patients requiring services, staff that may be inconvenienced, and at the same time, the building out, which will be good over time, but in the meantime, we have to make sure that we put in place the conditions for work. So what we're doing here is setting the environment for the construction and setting it in a way where patients can feel even better than they did before. And I think these two facilities are evidence of that. Not only do you see buildings, but you see modern equipment. In this case, a brand new modern lab testing equipment that will now offer testing services beyond what we were able to offer here before. And the equipment and the building comes with its all the services of waiting areas, staff rooms for lunch, for meetings, a more airy environment with windows, air conditioning, so it is a lot more pleasant to work in, all of which is intended to create a much better facility for the people while we transition to the main building. I anticipate that we will see groundbreaking for the main building within the next 2 months or so. We have gotten all the approvals now from our multilateral partners that we're working with. It now has to work its way through to the cabinet, which I am sure will be excited about, pushing ahead. and you will see some active work taking place within that period of time. But for now, this is progress, and I like to say, good things are happening in public health. We don't always see it or highlight it, but there are a lot of good things happening. In this case at Spanish Town, I think this is a very positive thing.
Could you give us an update as to where the Cornwall Regional Hospital project is right now?
The Cornwall Regional Hospital we're making progress. We're on the final phase of for completion. It's going to be the longer phase of all the phases. If you were to take out the wait period for procurement, it won't be that long, but you will see in another month or so work again start in earnest to put in the internals of the building. So the ward space, the operating theater, all the necessities that are required within the building. What we have at Cornwall now is a solid building. It has been reinforced, whether it's mechanically, steel, concrete. It has been cleaned out. So we're going to put in now the pipes, the electrical, and all the other things to make it complete. So we should start seeing a phased opening of Cornwall Regional early in the new year, if not before. And then beside Cornwall, we are now, I'm told up to yesterday, we're on the 7th floor of an 8th floor children and adolescent hospital. I'm actually going down there this week to look and see, but construction is going on very rapidly. So that site is active and it's making progress. So it's all good for public health. We know the delays have been long. We know people have been inconvenienced, which we regret. But I think at the end of it all, it will all go well for the provision of health services.
So the budget for this now, how much money spent already? And you say you learned some this now for Cornwall. So when you start, I don't think budget, you'll probably end up with a massive bill that's Cornwall Regional Hospital.
There's a big difference between what we're doing here and Cornwall. In this case, it's a new facility that we've built. And some of it is temporary, containers, for example. So the budget, the projections would be complied with for the most part. In Cornwall's case, it was a brownfield site where you really never knew what you had until you started to go in and to inspect and to remove things. You realize that other things needed to be done. A greenfield site is a much easier construction. So the budget for this facility would be?
For both sides, this would have cost us, the buildings themselves would have cost us about $200 million.
200.
And the landscaping would have been about another 45.
And what about the internal equipment? The stuff that you're going to put in, the furniture and so on?
We put a cost to that, just the construction.
But that, it looked to me like about a 40 million or somewhere in that region.
Yes, 30, I was speaking
30, 40
to
million.
To
You
get
see only no
this.
construction,
Yeah.
you're on it so much that you can almost estimate it, yes. So you're looking probably when it's all finished about 300 million to put the facility in place to serve the people. Interestingly, you may want to ask how many people will be served, because ultimately this is all for the people. I was just asking our lab administrator here how many people she serves on a weekly basis. Did I say weekly? Monthly. And you said about 8,000 in terms of lab tests.
So we do general chemistries, people who are hypertensive, diabetic, those are our most common tests. That is from our outpatients. From within the hospital, we're looking at cardiac tests. And this machine really has come at a very important time because some of the tests we have not been able to do and they affect our patients, especially those on the wards. So we roughly do about maybe 100 tests if you consider all the departments within the lab. Oh, per day we maybe 2,000 or 3,000. We really do a lot. We really do
Per
a
day?
lot. Yes. When you look at this machine alone, we do about 400 tests on this machine. So we have blood bank, we have hematology, we have histology, we have this is chemistry. So when you look at all of those,
So you do about 4,000 tests per day here on the compound?
I'd say about
2,000?
on average.
That's
Yes.
still a lot.
When we compare all the departments.
Okay, and the machine will give you a quicker turnaround.
Yes. Yes.
What about the pharmacy? Where's the pharmacist? Come talk it out.
And the outpatient services, we serve about 500 patients daily. and our inpatient services about 100 patients of varying degrees. So in total, with about 600 patients a day,
So and that's
15,000 a month.
15,000 a month.
Yes.
So the environment will allow you to do it a little faster.
That is our hope.
What is the difference between what you have here and what you had before?
Well, we have a larger outpatient area, and it is more comfortable now than what it is presently. So we're hoping that even though we want the wait to be short, while they do wait, it will be a more comfortable wait
Right.
for our patients.
So, okay. So there you have it. You're doing about 600 a day for pharmacy services and about 2,000 plus per day for lab services. So it's a lot of traffic. It's a lot of people have to pass through here on a daily basis, wait, do their thing, get their results. And the fact that it's a more friendly environment is a positive thing.
Where are we with the promise built out of the Waterford Health Center?
So there are 3 major other health projects to come in St. Catherine. And we're planning to go to market in another month or two months, I think. All right, Clark, who isn't here, would be best able. But this is for Old Harbour, St. Jago, which is next door, and Portmore, Greater Portmore. Those are going to be 3 major primary healthcare facilities, practically new in the case of Old Harbour, Greater Portmore. Of course, St. Jago is here. There's a major renovation, probably about $1.5 billion worth of work. And that will kind of, for the time being, complete the circle of primary versus secondary, while we do some planning around a new hospital on the belt between Portmore and Old Harbour, which is I know it's a talking point also. So it's really a positive thing for St. Catherine and its environs. Indeed, I think this represents the largest infrastructure project that has taken place in the parish of St. Catherine. Certainly the largest health infrastructure pre-independence and post. And in terms of infrastructure, probably barring a road, highway, it probably represents the largest expenditure. So we're very proud of it, and I want the people of St. Catherine to recognize that we hear the calls about improvement in facilities, and we are responding. And this is a manifestation of that, and the best is yet to come in terms of the services. We still want to advise them to cut down on the fast driving and the salt, sugars, and fats, because that's part of the traffic that have to come through here, people with hypertension and stroke and heart attacks, but we are making provisions for them nevertheless.
Well, Minister, I covered you when you promised a new health center for Waterford.
Yes.
So the question is, where is that?
So Errol, where are we in terms of Waterford? I know I'd ask you, that's Sterling?
No.
Who's the MP here?
Douglas.
Miller.
Miller.
Right, so did we allocated some money redesigns, right?
Yes, to do the designs.
Right. So I think we're done, some resources are allocated through designs for Waterford and Christian Penn. Right, so that's where we are, the pre-planning stage. I don't forget my promises, just in case. And you catch us on tape, right? That the designs are taking. All right.